Greetings, dear ones. We are the High Council of Orion. And we are here today to share, to enliven, and to inspire hope and a greater level of understanding in light of a changing environment on your planet. And while one could say, yes, of course there's a changing environment on the planet, this is literally how it's seen. The environment that all of the humans, all of the life forms are experiencing is shifting and changing. And with every shift and with every change, no matter whether it's a large historical event, whether it's a smaller personal event, every shift and change always requires a new equilibrium. Correct? So there's a moment of change where things might feel unstable, and then a new equilibrium is always found. Always. Yet right now, you're in the middle of a very unsettled time. And it's unsettled because, as everyone knows, it is unknown. There's much misinformation, disinformation, confusing information, and a very hard place to understand your personal place in all of it. There are things that are happening that are out of your control. You may or may not be at work. Your children may or may not be at home. The reality is the fabric of the world at this moment in time could be very much unlike anything you've ever experienced before. And this could be whether you're in the earlier part of your life or this incarnation, or in the later part of it. This is a time unlike any. And while the human mind has a strong desire to make sense of what's going on relative to information, what's interesting is the fact there's so much conflicting information. No place that feels like it's the ultimate truth, or that you know with certainty you can count on that particular information source. What it's doing is forcing you to realize that information is not your solution at the moment. Whether or not you get the right information, no matter how this virus began to spread around the planet and the way it did, there's a lot of information there. There's a lot of mystery there. There's a lot of what's known and what's not out in the public. But that is not the information that's going to help you feel better. You knowing how it started, why it started, when it started, the motivations and all of that, while that's interesting, the reality is if you are home wondering about your work situation, worried about your loved ones and your family, the ones you love in your close community, that information will not solve where you're at right now. So in this series of messages, we want to share with you the greatest place of power, alignment, truth, peace, and understanding that you can be in as you center in on yourself, center in on what's available to you, center in on expanding your experience of peace, trust, and faith, calling in energies of grace, understanding, even if You don't know what it is right now. But really understanding that this is a great opportunity for you to discover the resource that you have and that you are, that you can utilize in a way that you may not even be aware of right now. And what it does is give you a pivot point in your life to not only require the world around you to settle down, but it's a way for you to see that regardless of the circumstances around you, you'll have the ability to find a new way to be, a new way to experience life, and trusting in the idea that there is more out there available in terms of solutions and ideas and possibilities than you have opened up to. And why haven't you opened up to? You haven't needed to, correct? When you have your life where you go to work in a certain way, your family is experiencing life in a certain way, you have a particular pattern of interacting with the world and the world interacting with you, you don't necessarily look for a new way of being in the world because you're in a pattern that is right and comfortable, aligned. But if suddenly that pattern's been disrupted, which it has been worldwide, one has to not try and recreate the old pattern, but discover the new pattern. And that's what's going to be shared. How to discover a new pattern. Where to find it when a lot of the systems are not the same as they were before. A lot of the solidity that you could count on as truth in your life is dissolving, reorganizing in a way that you are going to have an opportunity to reorganize and find a new way, a new truth, a new place of thriving within it. So you're invited to listen to these messages, invited to take them on board, apply what feels right, open up to a greater sense of trust, of truth, of faith, of resource, in an ever-expanding, universally aligned way. Be blessed. We are the High Council of Orion.